Hood Postman, City, Hood, Click. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah. Lock the door on him. Lock the door on him. Hood Postman. Hood Postman. Reporting live. Reporting live. This the Hood Postman, come and check the program. You ain't from the streets, this is something you should know, man. Running from police, gotta grip the whip with both hands. Speeding down the interstate, please do not approach him. 40s in the fridge, got the caddy in the driveway. Get all out of my face, I don't wanna violate. Looked up in the mirror and I told myself, why wait? We took this shit worldwide, you only in 5 states. Came from the four corners with my 4 quarters. Showed them the style, then they stole on us. Times got wild, then they told on us. Dog, it was hard, but we had to keep it rolling. You ain't gotta ask, you know where to find me. I be in the back streets where it get grimy. It's just me and Mel, Rennie looking bride D. I be going hard till I'm in the 5 C's. Know the vibes. I'ma do it till I die. I ain't never switched sides. I ain't never had to tell a lie. Let's ride. Know the vibes. I'ma do it till I die. I ain't never switched sides. I ain't never told them no lie. Let's ride. Hood Postman. 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 Hood Postman.
Shout out to the Mailroom Nation and the Mailroom Goons. I am Professor Melly Mail, the Hood Postman. Be sure to click the notification bell, like, subscribe, and share. Drop a comment down below so when the dope content hit, it'll feel like it's the first in the 15. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Mailroom, where you can come in and take a look at your mind and examine what's in your heart. This is not a glorification, nor is it glamorization. It's always an education. Get on the bus and let me take you to school. Before they had handguns, they had handguards. Man up in the 70s proved that the handguards were there. All in the 70s, that's all they had. They didn't have all this. They had these right here. You can go anywhere in the world to get a couple of lies, but you come right here to get the truth. And the truth you shall receive, because we're going to drop some knowledge, some 70s on you today. Be sure to click the notification bell. If you ain't already have, press that thumbs up. It's very important. Trigger the algorithms, get this knowledge flowing, and get this information going out so we can share it with the other individuals that's trying to learn about this culture and be a part of this culture, that remember the culture and the best of their spirits and knowledge and understanding of it. We don't want to give too much to the negativity of it, but there were some positive things in there too as well. There's some people that came out of it that did really well for themselves and became good people after going through what they went through. So once again, I am your host, Professor Melly Mail. Come into the mailroom again, where you can take a look at your mind and examine what's in your heart. Shout out to Marlena William, Postmaster General in the house. Shout out to Rodney Scott, my guy. Jay Ship, what it is, God. Dominique Pierce, what's happening? Keith in the house. Man, I love it when you guys jump up in there, man, and want to get involved in this content. So we're going to start off by saying, beware of the keyboard gangsters, the KBGs, keyboard gangsters. For in the real world, they words hold no weight. Only in the virtual reality are their actions even seen or heard. Keep that in mind. That's the only way you get to see them. Choose to be a leader and not a follower. For your future is too valuable for you to be defined by the wrong crowd. You're too valuable for that. Understand that, black man, black woman. You're too valuable for that to be defined by the wrong crowd. Stay strong, stay true, stay just in the circle of your trust, and just be yourself. And so you can pay the way to your greatness. Don't settle for mediocrity. Because if you settle for mediocrity, you'll be hopelessly and forever doomed to it. And remember, but always remember that the streets ain't made for everybody. They're just not made for everybody. Walk your own path with purpose. You got to do it with purpose, because if you don't have no purpose, you don't have no meaning and purpose, you could easily get thrown off and led off astray to something that you don't want to be engaged and involved in. And don't let that determine that's where your strength, because don't let nobody determine who you are and what your strengths are. God made you in the best of circumstances. I just want you to know that that's coming from me, from the heart. God made you in the best of circumstances. So let's get to it. Let's get to the content. Let's get to the content. Let me take a drink of water, guys. Shout out to Devon Cutmore. How you doing, sir? The 1970s were some very different times, because we had just come out of the Black Panther area, the US Organization, United States, the SLA. We saw all these liberation armies and all these different radical, revolutionary type groups, the Nation of Islam, and it had broken up, they had the nation, and then you had the Sunni Muslim. All this stuff occurred in the 70s. Okay. Uh, some of the people that I grew up with was some of the best I've seen at what they did, and they proved it more over than once. And today I got an opportunity to go sit down with Cheetah, and she said some things. You guys got to listen, guys. On the next couple of days, when you hear her interviews, she's gonna say some things about Raymond. She's gonna say some things about Tookie, and she's gonna say some things about Mac Thomas that I really never heard nobody else say. And when you see him, don't be surprised at what she said, because here's how she explained it. I'm 70 years old. I was there. And if you wasn't there, you can't tell me what I don't know and what I didn't see or what I didn't participate in. Those are her words, not mine. So we had to wait and see. Um, some of the best fighters were initially, because that's what the Crips was founded on, being fighting. They were at that time, they were fighting the Avenues, they was fighting the Brims, and later on they started fighting the Bishops, and then later on they started fighting the Pyrus and the Bounty Hunters. And don't get me wrong, fighters came out of all those areas, those individuals, whether you was in the Pyru area, whether you was in the Bounty Hunters, and whether you was in the Bishops or the Brims, everybody had their prize fighters, their dudes that would just throw them. Like, they were just the supreme hand guys. And some of the guys that came up out of my section, Oaks Park, I want to get back to that, right? Let me say this. Some of the best fights that happened in LA, East Side, was Raymond Washington. And I can't remember the guy's name, but he had a fight over there at Black Johnny's house. Or Johnny, not Black Johnny, but Johnny Ray. Johnny Ray from Q102, And talking about a drunker, God. And then Raymond had a fight with a guy named Battle out the Hoovers. And some people say the Battle might have got Raymond on that one. I don't know. We just have to, keep listening to the historians and let them tell their stories, and then we'll figure out who actually won that fight at some point. So some of the best fighters out of my section, and I'm just gonna name a few, was Ivan Brooks, and God. Ivan Brooks, although he was a year younger than me, was a very, very, very audacious and not braggadocious, but just held his own. And people would be surprised at how well he how well he could actually chunk them. I'm talking about chunking, but he went with a girl named Janellis. Like, right, pay attention to this. Janellis lived on Pearl. Herman Jr., Willie T, and all the Pyrus used to be on Pearl and Am. And Janellis lived on that street. IB would go, that was his girlfriend. Now, how he felt comfortable enough to go over there, and it would be times when he go over there and he had to come back running. But I don't know. He really must have loved that girl, man, because he risked everything to go over there to be with her. Everything. But all those guys knew that if you ran up on him and you gave him that one-on-one head-up fight, 9 chances out of 10, you wasn't going to fare too well with IB, Ivan Brooks. There was Silas Cole, Darnell Miles, Gerald Miles, Snake. Now, Chocolate, a.k.a. Silas Cole, was a tall brother, and he got the name Chocolate because he had his complexion was like a Milky Way, like a Milky Way candy bar, and they called him Chocolate. And he was a hand guy. You could see him any day dressed in all his khakis and his big leather coats, and he was tall and he had a long reach, and he would just pick you off the side of his cold Chocolate. Unfortunately, Chocolate lost his life in San Jose. He was original Oaks Park businessman. He lost his life up in San Jose in some kind of botched robbery up there in San Jose, and he lost his life. So a lot of these guys I'm gonna talk about, IB is still living. Darnell is living. Gerald Miles is living. Darnell was a great boxer, and him and AB was cousins out of front. But a lot of these guys, some of these guys I talk about, you will notice that they passed away, and not necessarily from gang violence, just from being old or just old age, I guess, gather, or just something succumb to some type of disease or some dysfunction of the body. So then there was Nathaniel Fletcher, aka the Snake. He was like, get like the snake. Get like the snake. Snake was another brother, right? Bow-legged. He was like the Crip. When you saw Snake, you could see he had that steel beanie, the one they call the steel beanie, that real one you wear up off the head. He had one of those. He always catch his penalties on, his khakis stay creased up Levi's or either khakis. He kept his biscuits on. He wore biscuits like every day. Just really, really sharp dresser in the Crip attire and whatever that apparel was during that time. Very, very sharp individual. Fight his butt off. I seen one time the homies, they got into it with the white sizes, Melvin White size out on the side, Dinosaur now, out of Moreland Park. And before he can get up out the car, Dinosaur get out the car, get him. Snake was on him. Just put him on him and drove him back up in the car. Drove him back. He didn't even get up out the car good. I'm standing right there looking at this, right, guys? And I'm thinking like, wow. As I reflect back on some of this stuff, some of these fights that I got to see was classic. It was like watching Ali and Joe Frazier or Thomas Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard. That's how some of these fights were. But the Snake would always say, get like the Snake. He rest in peace. Rest in peace, the Snake. And then there was Frog, a.k.a. Robert Thomas, tall. I seen Rob hit a dude in the jaw and just crack his jaw. Bah! Ooh, I knew that hurt. just hitting that hard. Just cracked the man's jaw. Then it was Gary Miller. Gary the Governor Miller. Gary, unfortunately for Gary actually went up to Dominguez one day, bussing, right? He bussing, bop, 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 bop. Gary don't shoot nobody except our own homegirl. How about that? He shoot our homegirl, Robin Session. She's sitting out on the lawn in front of the office at Dominguez High. waiting to get on the bus, and Gary just come through there. Him and Rob, they come through the bus and pop, 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 getting off. And all people he hit the homegirl, Robin Session. They both now rest in peace. So that's how I can just talk about that situation. But man, for many days a week, Gary was shaking like man, shaking like jello, because he felt like Robin was gonna turn him in, but she didn't turn him in. She went on it, and just fortunate for her that the bullet hit her and it went. He used to wear back then in the 70s, people used to wear the big old natural wigs, right? So the bullet actually went inside the wig and got implanted in the wig, and it just barely penetrated the skull. So she wasn't hurt too bad. So, but later on, she died from natural causes. No complications from that situation. Then there was Big Roy Scott. Roy Scott, another. Roy Scott probably was like, if Roy was living right now, I think Roy would probably be about, him and Levi, probably the two oldest homies, him and Levi Clark, they probably would be about 72 at this time, I think. But both of them guys, Levi Clark is another one. Fight, just serious fighters, man. You better bring a lunch if you got into it with them dudes. Then there was the homie Al Green. I remember one time Putin came through busting. Al Green had the gun down in his pants. He trying to pull out the gun. He trying to get the gun out, and by the time he got the gun, it would go off. Bah! He shot himself in the Johnson. that ain't funny, but how you shoot yourself? How you shoot your Johnson, man? That's your Johnson. You just shot your Johnson, bro. Now you all up on Rob Porch bleeding everywhere, man. They got the car to patch you up. Then you realize, man, almost blew your Johnson off, bro. Al Green, I had to get that out there. But right to this day, I don't know what happened to Al Green, where he went to. But yeah, shout out to him if he's still living and if he's still surviving. I appreciate you. Then there was Taboo. Now Taboo. Now you talking about fighter, man. That dude was like a Tasmanian devil. Him and Donald Duck Norwood and Chester Norwood, they were cousins. Taboo probably would be in his 70s too. Another older homie, he would be in his 70s. But great squabbler too. So there was a lot of squabblers over there. And then we can't leave out Donnie Wayne. Donnie Wayne to fight anybody and everybody. Anybody and everybody. Shout out to Cynthia Nunn. I see you. Donnie Wayne would fight anybody and everybody and wouldn't win not one fight. Not one. But Donnie Wayne didn't turn down no fights. We always gonna have them guys that just fight everybody and anybody, but don't win no fights. But they don't turn down none. So you gotta respect the energy and the effort and the willingness to continue to keep doing it. Although he ain't coming up good, but he's still doing it. Yeah, yeah. I have to laugh, bro. I have to laugh because when I go back in retrospect and look at some of these things and think about back then, I wasn't laughing. But just think about, man, we're going to go back to Al Green. Al Green, somebody coming through capping, Al Green get the gun hung up in his pants, but how he do get it out and go out and he almost blow off his own Johnson. Man, that's it's just painful and hilarious at the same time. Just think about it. Sometimes you got to make this stuff humorous, right? You got to be able to laugh about it and think about, in terms of how these guys were, and how well they stuck together. Then we had Donald Duck Norwood. Duck, unfortunately, right? Let's see. I forgot Chili Pimp. Chili Pimp was another one, but Chili Pimp was from Chicago. He was a Blackstone Ranger. He came out here from Chicago. He was a Blackstone Ranger and joined up with the Oak Sport Boys, and he had that Chicago style. He had this gun. He called it a Bailey cannon, and he the one that got the part down his head. He running up on people busting. They busting back at him. He catch that part across his head. But anyway, he actually succumbed to drug addiction, became homeless, and eventually died in the streets. A lot of this stuff is sad, and can't laugh about that, and all we can do is pray for Chili Pimp. He was a good homie. I mean, every time I seen him, I tried to lift him up, give him some love. Even when I seen him out there, I would pull up on him and peel him off something and, tell him, come on, Chili, pull yourself together. But he just could never pull himself out of that space. And believe it or not, he was kin to Bookman, the police Bookman. Chili Pimp was kin to Bookman. Then there was Donald Dark Norwood that stayed across the street from Chili Pimp on Willow. He was another one, another character. Um, Actually, Donald Duck Norwood went through all that game banging. He was one of the founders of Oaks Park, and he went through all that years of game banging. Then once he got out of game banging, he get killed from a stray bullet from some dudes shooting at some of my younger homies, and the bullet don't hit them. It traveled like it had to be like a 223 because it traveled some kind of ways and hit Duck and killed him, and that's how he lost his life. But another good homie, just a real good homie. He was a real big homie, and he lost his life unfortunately like that. Uh, Nothing we can do about it. It's just I don't know. Sometimes some of the circumstances, somebody guys, and this happened to all from every section, every hood, every clique, every park, every alley, every block, every neighborhood. People kind of like die or succumb to the injuries or some type of disease or something. The same circumstances that happen across the board. It's not different. It's nothing different. And there's no disrespect to nobody or I just try to make light of it, but at the same time it's very serious. And this is why we need to work on our younger generation to get them to see that we shouldn't be still in the same headspace. We should not be in the same headspace. We got to blow up the mindsets and do something different because if we continue down that road and around that rabbit hole, we'll never get to where we could be just comfortable with one another like we were in the 50s and 60s. Black people was very comfortable with one another. Shout out to King Mike. Shout out to you, man. Yeah. So then there was Big Scrunchy, which was Butch Brown, him and Bitter Dog Wallace, not Bitter Dog Bruno, but Bitter Dog Wallace, two mother hand gods, both of them rest in peace. And then one of the best fights I ever seen was Dogface and Red Dog, Michael Redmond from the Grandies. Man, they fought, man. They fought a good while. They was that was like Marvin Hagler and Sugar Ray. That's how they was, like Marvin Hagler and Sugar Ray. They was getting down, like. But at the end of the day, all these fights and all these guys were fighting, get into it, but they didn't go get no gun and come back and kill nobody. That's the point I'm making through all this stuff is that these guys would actually handle their situations like men. Don't get me wrong. There was some times where gunplay took place amongst black people, but sometimes when people having disagreements, there was better ways to settle it than just grab a gun and start pulling the trigger. Because often enough that those bullets will find individuals that was innocent of the situation. Like what I was telling you when Gary shot Robin, he didn't know he was gonna shoot Robin, you know, but it's just unfortunate he did shoot her. And the homeboy Killer Mac, Walter McDeal, BJ, Bobby Kitchen, Blue Boy, Donnie Kitchen, them were my guys. Sugar Bear, Big Mac, Drew Fly. All them was my crew right there. They was my guys, right? They was older than me. Let's see, Yogi Boo Boo, Crip Doctor, Baby Crip, Baby Charles. Yeah, so I'm just naming guys as we go, and I can't even imagine what's the legendary fight would look like. Those legendary fights, I'm telling you, brother, some of those fights I seen, I'm talking about seeing was like super legendary. I was at school one day, right? And I don't know who bought them boxing gloves out. I'm sitting over in Senior Square, and they bought some boxing gloves out there. So I saw Stanley Pitts putting on the boxing gloves. I see Stanley, I'm at school. Then I looked over and I see James Horton. He putting on the boxing gloves. I seen Stanley Pitts and James Horton box each other at school. And it was a pretty good boxing match. And they was cool about it. They both can slang them and they got out, but Stanley was challenging other dudes to boxing, and other cats didn't want to box him or whatever. I guess, he tried to get Willie McKinnon to box because McKinnon was actually a boxer. And Willie just, nah, man, I don't want to do that. But it was all in good faith and fun. It wasn't like, oh no, hate stuff. It was just dudes just, exhausting that energy, trying to use up that energy instead of just sitting around at lunchtime, sitting in Senior Square doing nothing. Somebody bought some boxing gloves out there. Let's get down. Another good fight I saw at school was Volcano and Malcolm, New York, bartender's brother in Senior Square. They got down real tough. So yeah, that's been an instance where you seen just good fights, just good fights. It really wasn't about seeing who won or any of that. Sometimes it was just seeing men handle their situations the way that men would handle them, but nobody died. You understand what I'm saying? So in the 70s, you saw a lot of that. You saw a lot of that. And then as you start getting towards the 78s, the 79s, and 80s, then that's when you start seeing the gunplay like really, really rise. But from the 72 to about 75, 76, it was just a lot of fighting. I'm gonna actually say from 70 to 76, it was just a lot of fighting. There was some gunplay every now and then. Cats would put zip guns together. You got one dude got the bullet, one dude got the pliers, one dude got the pipe, and they slap it together. Bosh! Stuff like that. Just kid stuff. But eventually, with the crack cocaine entered into the play, elevated everything because now you got a lot more money. You got a lot more people joining the games. It's becoming really, really complicated and chaotic, and that just put everybody into a stewing pot to where things just got really, really, really volatile, really extremely volatile, and that's what happened to us. And we didn't even see the big trick in the play that was taking place on all of us. Whether you was a Crip, whether you was a Piru, whether you was a Blood, whether you was a Hoover, none of us saw that, and none of us saw that the puppeteers and the puppet master really played all of us because while we were doing all that, they was funding wars around Nicaragua and El Salvador and Panama and all these secret clandestine government operations, and all our people were dying in the streets from crack wars and people fighting now instead of really just people fighting over blue rags and red rags. Now they fighting over crack cocaine sales and who's selling the most dope, and you can't sell on this block, or my dope is better than yours, and I don't like you because you sell more dope to me, and people start calling the police on dudes. It was actually, man, I got police called on me a few times by other people that were selling dope. One thing about back then, the police, they don't like snitches. They don't like snitches. And if somebody snitched on you, they would tell you. See, police didn't like snitches. Although they took their information and did what they did with it, but Yeah, I got snitched on a couple of times, and it don't make no sense for me to tell you who they were. And I know them. I see them right to this day. But they don't know I know. I just because once you grow up and become a grown man, certain things don't matter anymore because you can't go back. It's like taking toothpaste and putting it back in the tube, or taking spilled milk and putting it back in the cup and drinking it. It just don't work. Why? So why even go down that way? You know, I can't tell you why they told on me. But here's the thing: when it comes to that, anybody that ever told on me, it's my freaking fault. Why is it my fault? Because it was me that allowed those individuals to get in my business. So therefore, ultimately, the responsibility of my business belongs to me. And if anybody outside of me take my business and give it to some agency or some police or something like that, then I had to take responsibility because I allowed them individuals into a circle of trust that they broke, and they weren't ready to be in that circle of trust. I didn't scan, I didn't evaluate, I didn't look at them individuals close enough to understand who they were and what they were about. See, so that's my fault. Even with my last case with me, gangster, my brother, couple of homeboys, my homie Pee Wee, my homie Don Juan is still in there right now serving a life sentence because of some individuals decide, one cat, he was from Kelly Park. Another cat, he was from L.A., Taylor Made. Uh, just people tell on you, man, and it ain't nothing you could, you know, what can you do at that point? Like so, I'm saying again, it's your fault. Taliban behind bars. Kid gang, what's going on? Colorado lock the door. What it is? What's good, family? How you doing? Shout out to Smurf Nacho, man. Hopefully, I hear from him soon. My mouth is really, really dry. So, guys, listen. In the next couple of days, I think it's about 3 or 4 parts with Cheetah. She's going to tell you some things about Raymond Washington. She's going to tell you some things about Stanley Tookie Williams. And she's going to tell you some things about Matt Thomas. Also, within that context, she's going to talk about Ricky Silas, Chocolate, Crazy Crip, Moto, Big Mad Dog. And then she's going to explain, why she was the first Crip elect. And she's going to actually tell you why, and she explains the Bonnie situation, you know. So she explains that really, really well. I like, and she stand on her business, as the kids would say, she stand on business, regardless to what anybody may feel or think about it. It's her story, and it's her story, so let her tell it. That's how I see it. I don't. I'm 65 and she's 70. She got me by 5 years. I can't tell her. She was on this planet 5 years before I got here. So therefore, I don't, I can't tell her story. Now she can give me the information. I can like repeat it or revise it or give it back, but her story is coming from her, and you're gonna get it. You know, some of you might not like it. Some of you may love it. Some of you will say, "Man, that's good content. That's good history." It's gonna be a few different ways to look at it, and then you're gonna hear some things that you ain't heard before. So with her being 70, it kind of gives her the way to say what she needs to say. Once again, 55 and older is history. Anything else is just a mystery. Cynthia Nunn told me that. Right, Cynthia? I got that from Cynthia Dunn. Shout out to Cynthia Dunn. Cynthia Dunn told me one time, Melly, 55 and over is history. Anything else is just a mystery. I fell out laughing because she was correct. When I really looked at it and examined that quote that came from Cynthia Dunn, I like, wow. I say this is so on point. Because you get to talking to people under that 55, they get to babbling all kind of stuff, and they get to say some things, And I'm not saying that older people can't, but they just don't know the things that happen before these things are before their time, you know. And shout out to Malik for what he said. He gave the Nunn family a lot of their flowers, and he credited them for the foundation and the pillars of that side of East Side. The people they were, he gave them their powers yesterday. Shout out to him for doing that. That was amazing, right, Cynthia? Malik is an incredible individual when it comes to speaking. He really knows how to say the right thing. You know. Yeah, that is a good one, right, Pierce? That's a good one, right? Yeah. So yeah. I don't know, Cynthia. Did you even know? Did you know Malik? Did you know him? Okay. Yes. Yes. She said yes. Okay. Yeah. So Cynthia, I'm waiting. I really want to talk to Lamont. Because I think Lamont he's a very important part. Both of his parents were two pillars. Both of his parents were two of the foundation. Solid. His mom, his dad being put in. I think that'll be a really, really good interview, a really great interview. And, just real good questions and no type of shadiness, you know what I mean? I don't want to put no shade. I just want to ask good questions that's gonna allow him to open up and just kind of address some of the things that people want to know, you know. So hopefully we can do that, get together and get on that. So anybody got any questions for me? Oh, you got 2 more years before you know anything. You funny. You are funny. Tony Caesar said he addicted to crippin'. I don't know if that's a good addiction, bro. I just don't. That's addiction you want to get away from quick, fast, in a hurry. Yeah, you guys got any questions for me? We got to get Cynthia back on too. She got a lot of history. Cynthia got picture album books about that thick. She got over thousands. And I'm talking about Polaroids, original pictures. Shout out to Stan. There's no friendly fire. You right about that, Stan. Bullets have no names, man. They don't. They don't, brother. You sent them out right there. There's no friendly fire. I appreciate each and every last one of you. Man, I gotta go almost to Mexico in the morning. It's cool, but I'll be like wondering, I don't like getting too close to the border. I just don't. Because if anybody pull up, man, hey, take all this. Yeah, it's yours. Yeah, but I just got to do that. That's just one of the things. Is it raining out there where you guys at? It's raining where I'm at. Is it raining? How's the weather? Is it raining in Arizona, Marlena? Stan, is it raining in LA? Yeah, it is Wisdom Wednesday. I did tell you guys, beware of the keyboard gangsters, the KBG. Gotta beware of the KBG, the keyboard gangsters, for in the real world, they word hold no weight. Only in the virtual reality are their actions even seen or heard. that's the real right. That's the reality. What's behind the appearance is always the reality, guys. Did you hear Farrakhan's on Savior's Day? Oh, it's raining in San Diego. Okay. 55 and okay. Ain't no rain in Arkansas. Yeah, I'm 65. That means you grew up with the years of wisdom. Yeah, thank you, Joshua, man. You're a pretty wise young man yourself, man. I appreciate that you even stick around to listen to stuff and you have the willingness to learn it. You'll be that much further ahead on this, so when you encounter some of this stuff, you'll be already knowing that, man, you just don't know. I already know about this stuff. Y'all ain't telling me nothing. I've got it from the old heads. How you doing, Yeshua? How's it in DC? How's the weather in DC? When I was in the feds, there was a cat named Malik. I don't remember Malik's last name, but he was from DC. He was a boxer. There was a lot of boxers that come out of DC. I noticed a lot of cats came out. He says cold. A lot of cats come out of DC be boxers. I remember Kurt Bone. Right before he was in the feds. Yeah. Oh, you didn't choose it, it chose you. I'm a boxer. See, I told you, Yeshua, a lot of cats in DC box. A lot of them. That's what they do over there. Ghost, my partner Ghost, he box. So yeah, a lot of people I know that come out of DC are boxers. My day was good, Yeshua. I don't have no complaints. Just going through it. I live for the weekend, bro. I live for the weekend. That's my goal. And I love sitting down with individuals, hearing these interesting stories, and sometimes they take me so far back. I'll be like, "Wow, that really happened." And then there's some things you can't even put out because it'd be so real, man. It'd be like, wow. You want to try to figure out how to let people hear it, but then again, it just wouldn't be right. It just wouldn't, because it's gonna ruffle too many feathers. I don't like ruffling feathers. Them boys in DC about that life. Yeah, I was in the feds with them, man. So yeah, you're right. But it's just like DJ Quick says, it's just like Compton. A lot of stuff, or what we try to make differences out of it, it's all the same. It's all the same. It's all the same. I love it when I come in here and talk this culture, and you guys embrace it and be ready to listen to it because it's fascinating. It's interesting. There's some things about it that hasn't been said yet. So anytime anybody is willing to give it up, man, you look at it. I'm the mailman in Minneapolis. Man, I was in Twin City or Bloomington. I was in one of them, man. It was about 11 below zero. And I told them dudes I ain't never coming back out here. Man, told them about let's go to the I'm not going nowhere until some of this stuff let up. you know, it was 11 below zero. Do you realize how cold that is? Minnesota is a place, man. I told you, man, listen, guys, I had never felt nothing that cold in my life. No cap. And when I left there, I told them, shit, out to you for being 24. I told them I was never coming back again. Not in the winter. Maybe they catch me in the summer, but I'd never go there in the winter. Yeah, you grew up there, so you used to it, huh? That's right. More years to come. Hey, Melly, I'm I'm originally from Carson, California. Do you ever plan to interview some of them? I really want to because I know a lot of the 190s. It's just a matter of me catching up with the right one that's willing to sit down, and even the Centerviews and Scottsdale, uh, any of those guys out of Carson, I'm willing to sit down with any of them. I don't discriminate, bro. I don't care if you were Crip, Blood, Pyru, Hoover, or you were some gang that just didn't claim none of that. You was just a gang. I don't look at. I just look at black people. There's some black people that's very interested. And some people have a way of telling stories or giving information in such a way that you just ride with. It's just like a wave. You just ride it up and down. You like, wow, this is amazing. You know, I love it when I talked to Avalon Blue. Avalon Blue said, I maintained that. McKinley, Stafford, Vernon, and what did he say? Vernon and Saul said, I maintain that. He was serious too. I love it, man. Yeah, I love it. Big Cartoon is great at it. He's a great interview. There's a few people that's really, really good. When you talk to them, the information just flow out easy. You don't have to pull it out of them. I don't have some interviews where I really had to do most of the talking because they would say one or two words and stop. Then I have to talk and they say one or two words and stop. And I just talking, they did one or two, So those type of interviews are very difficult. God bless you too, brother. I like the Compton LA culture. Yeah, yeah. It's no different really from DC. You guys just don't call it Crip or Pyru. The dudes back in the 80s was built like trucks. Nah, he's in DC, bro. Yeah, Too Pretty Kitty is a wild boy. Oh, you in Baltimore. Okay, you in Baltimore. Oh, I'm in Baltimore now. He's in Be more careful. Baltimore has Baltimore, Mississippi, and one more. I can't think of what it is. Has the highest concentration of black people. Baltimore, Maryland, Jackson, Mississippi, and what is the other one? It's three. They have like up towards 72% black people. I can't think of the other one. Mm, skips my mind. But anyway, you guys, it's three spots in the United States. Charleston White. Is it St. Louis? No, I don't think it was. It St. Louis? Could be. No, Detroit. Detroit. So it's Detroit, Baltimore, and Jackson, Mississippi. Those places have the highest concentration of black people. They're anywhere from uh, 58% to 72% heavily populated with black people. So Detroit, Baltimore, Maryland, and Jackson, Mississippi. Most of the people there are predominantly black in those cities. Oh, they got A. Trey Kane Shakar out there. That's interesting. So what did they do? Did they read the Monster Cody book and they loved it? They said, we gonna be A. Trays. I don't know. I don't know if they crippin' in DC, bro. I don't think they are. South, northeast, southwest, Berry Farms. Let's see. Let's see, by state. By state, it's Texas, Florida, and Georgia. Could be, that could be possible. No, those other cities are populated, but I'm telling you, the highest population, those other cities, they treat it around 40 and 50%, right? But Baltimore and Jackson, Mississippi, and Detroit are very, very, very black, very black. So it's almost up and towards almost 80% of the people in those cities I named are black. Baltimore had Crips and Bloods. Oh, they was moving. My homeboys was moving weight in B more in DC. Roy Summers and Amando, they were out there way back in the 80s. Okay, got it. Got it. Thanks for that information, Kincaid. Got it. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Going by percentages, you're right. The overseer. Interesting name. What are you overseeing? Oh, you like the graffiti art. Yeah, the graffiti art is awesome. Some of the best graffiti artists back in the day were the villains. The villains were vicious with their graffiti art. The Hoovers was good, and the other sets was good as well. But our people got it, got it, got it. So how's that working? Because our people are so misguided. Too many labels, too much religion. It's not. It's not okay to be spiritually and have a understanding in the background to know what God is. But I think some of us get so rooted in religion. It's just that I study our people worldwide, statistics and everything. Yeah, you ever go to blackdemographics.com? Go look at blackdemographics.com. They usually give that's those those statistics and stats are by us, for us, by us. Okay. Oh, the BGF runs the streets over there. Yeah, got it. Got it all the time, overseer, all the time, man. Send me a message on IG. We can chop it up. The Hood Postman on IG. Marlena, can you tap it in if you don't mind? I'm the Hood Postman. Just send me a message over there, overseer, and we can chop it up, bro. I don't, I talk to people. I send people my number, because I really want our people to get together, whether we in Baltimore, DC, Atlanta, Florida, Miami, or Dallas, Houston, Austin, Memphis. I really want us as a people to get understanding, whether we in Los Angeles, Oakland, San Diego, Detroit, where black people are highly concentrations of black people. I think we all need to be on code. If we get on code, man, we can get somewhere, bro. It's just a matter of us getting on code. Every ethnic group of people. If you look at the Chinese, right? You go in a Chinese restaurant, who working in there? They hire their own people. You go in a Mexican restaurant, who work there? Mexicans. They hire their own people. You understand? You go into one of our restaurants, you're gonna find but maybe both Chinese and Mexicans. So what I'm saying, those coaches hire their own people, and that's what we need to be about. The business of hiring our own people and putting our own people, providing for our own people. That's what we don't do. So, but again, I wonder how y'all deal with the PTSD from yeah, it's been difficult, bro. It's been difficult. I actually been in therapy myself, so I don't know. I don't hold that back. I tell people all the time. I've been through therapy. I had to get somebody to help me see things clear. Get some understanding. Reposition myself. I had to reposition myself. So, but anyway, you know how that go, guys. I mean, once again, I appreciate everyone that tend to come in and catch up with the Hood Postman so we could drop in the mail room and drop this knowledge. With that being said, lock the door, because we are gone.
Perfect grind all the time, baby.
Yeah. Cali Finest, baby. Proof of grind all the time. Music money. Got a dollar sign. Hub City. I'm a street nigga, streets fuck with me. I'ma keep pushing products till the fans get me. It's guap off top, diamond Cartier. That nigga wall won't give a broke bitch the time of day. They see me climbing, they see me shining. That's hard work, proof of grinding. New money got me tipping in that 550. Ali, bad man, and I'm so pretty. I got that tech with me, that's my hater sprayer. Go big, grind now, nigga, play later. What can I say? I'm addicted to this paper stacking, and I don't talk about it, I just make it happen. Word on the block is that my shit go. Freaks for the low.
Marlon Williams, lock the door, because we are going for real this time.